Again, why did one guy stand up and change the policy where they don't record minors by pointing out it was illegal, which it is? Why did one guy make it where they just wand you? I mean, obviously, you can tell if somebody's got a gun to keep the precious little judges safe. Maybe once a year, somebody gets into a courtroom and blows away a judge. And there's tens of thousands of court hearings going on conservatively. More than that, there's over 10,000 counties in the U.S., and every county's having dozens and dozens of hearings every day. And that's just county court, state court, federal court, all these other new kangaroo administrative law courts they've created. And they say they want naked body scanners everywhere. But remember, as I told you 14 years ago, went over the documents, they take your baby's blood at birth and keep it in a UN database. Now it's mainstream news, but CNN goes, yes, it is for research, but it may save lives. Obviously, when they say it's a mandated state health department, not a law, but mandated. I mean, I've had 3 children, and I've sat there and said, no, you can't take their blood. The nurse gets mad and goes, it's the law. And I go, no, it isn't the law, lady. I have to know what it is. And they just push us and push us and push us and push us. It's the same thing. They're recording your body. The government admits it radiates you. It's equivalent of an X-ray, not as bad as a chest X-ray, but close. And now they want actual X-rayers. There's no end to them domesticating you, squatting on you, spitting in your face. They had Super Bowl ads that are coming up by Audi. I will never buy an Audi. I will boycott Audi. Selling eco-cops arresting people for taking hot baths. Now, you think that's a joke? They're training school kids to write fake tickets to their parents and saying it will be arrestable. And they arrest somebody for throwing a battery away in the trash. Most states already have laws where if you accidentally do that, you go to prison. They mean business, folks. And that's to acclimate you. This is all dog training. This is what they're doing. Now, going back to our guest, who I really appreciate joining us, is there any websites, Gary, we can visit? Are there any places we can find out more? I guess We Are Change Colorado's got the videos up. Other points you'd like to make about this? As you said, we've got a lot of airline executives coming out and saying they're against this, but we've got to press them to say no. We've got some major airports saying no. It comes out, clear evidence, the underwear bombing was staged. That's coming up next hour with a former embassy head who exposed all this. Other points you'd like to make, sir?
Well, just a couple. The website is gigisup.net, and that just has basic information about the situation and a little bit of information about the speaking engagements that I've been asked to conduct. But I think the big thing is for everyone to really understand their rights, really do the research, do the reading, and be very professional. I know that these police officers are just doing their job, but when you get pulled over, when you get in a situation, follow the lead of the peaceful crowd who are standing up for their rights in the most professional way. Use the word sir. Look them in the eye. Don't let them pull any of their tactics with body position, the tone of their voice, how they stand straight on you. Square your shoulders right up. Look them right in the eye and say, no, sir, I'd rather not. I just don't think that the...
And you should add, if they're being rude, hey, you're a public servant. I've treated you with respect. You treat me with respect.
That's the word you have to use over and over. I'm one of the people. I pay your salary, and I would really appreciate it if you would continue to treat me with the same level of respect that I'm treating you.
Yeah, this groveling to the government has almost encouraged them like it's the natural order of things. The only real possession we've got is our liberties, our freedoms, and property rights. And it's all under assault. It's all being dismantled, folks.
And there's self-interest involved, too. The public side has no recognition, at least they're pretending not to recognize, how much pressure they're putting on the private side. And the private side is squealing, but the public side just keeps marching along. They get paid every month. Their pensions are funded. Their health care is funded. Their checks are being cashed right away.
It's just like lung cancer not listening. It thinks it's winning. It's growing. It's got plenty of blood. Shut the hell up. I'm doing what I want.
And I think in the end, the self-interest is knowing that if they don't support the system, somehow they're not going to be able to take advantage of that retirement program. 5 years away or 10 years away or 1 year away.
Well, they're going to do what Venezuela and everybody else have done. They're going to cut all the cops' funding as well, and the judges and all these people that enforce. We know how this is done. We know that they're already making California government people work a day a week free because the government, the only thing growing is the government.
The only thing growing is the government. And so the regular public servant is as scared as I am. They're as scared as you are. So they're acting out of self-interest to try to keep the system propped up.
That's right. The more corrupt they get, the more heat they get, and they go, we got to get even rougher on them to get them in line, make them submit. We've got to, through the threat continuum, get control of the situation. You don't have control of the situation. Foreign banks are using you to carry out their robbery.
It's like a ratchet. It goes one direction. They only know one language. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. More years in prison, more tickets. I've never seen so many police officers on the street with radar guns and pulling people over for no registration, no proof of insurance, driving right down the street, going the speed limit, right down the lane, no drinking, nothing on board. No, I've never seen.
And now they're passing cell phone laws as an excuse. Let me bring this up to you. I've confirmed, it's been in the news, that a sheriff will arrest a van full of 14 illegals in one case. He brings them to ICE. They say, we're not going to pick them up. Even if they do, this was in Associated Press, the feds come and give them green cards and jobs, working for the feds. I mean, the feds want all these foreigners working for them. This is like their foreign army. Here in Austin, 3 years ago, I pull up to the office at night, and one of my, it was a contractor, IT guy, was in handcuffs. And I walk over, and the cops bow up and freak out, and they go, oh, it's Alex Jones. Hey, Alex, I'm a fan of the show. A black cop, white cop. And I'm going, okay, you're a fan of the show. Why are you arresting him? Well, his license is expired. We saw him turn in here. It looks suspicious. I go, no, we've got an internet problem. I called him to get him up here. I'm having to pay him a lot of money to be here at 9 o'clock at night. And, well-lit area right here. And then the cop starts going, I don't care. I'm out of here in 6 months. I got this great band. And I go, oh, you were playing in New York. I go, were the cops rude to you? He goes, yeah, I asked the cop for directions. He screamed at me and said, do I look like a telephone book? And he said, and I explained to him I was a cop, and then he apologized. Oh, see, because it's only okay because you're another fellow God. And then, and as they took him away to jail, they admitted, they said, yeah, if he was an illegal, we're told that we don't even give him fines, so they're just let go. We get in trouble. And I've seen that in the news. And then last night, I was, I'm not going to say county or city, I was talking to a clerk with the courts, and they told me what I'd already seen in the news, and we're an amnesty sanctuary city, 800-plus cities are, Denver is as well, and they said 60+% of the arrest in Austin for crime is the illegals, and that's even when they catch them. Or the actual quote was 65% of crime is illegals. And they are literally above the law, but then the citizens, literally $5,000, $10,000, year in jail, 5 years probation if you've had 2 beers, don't have a driver's license, you're arrested, fees, fines. I mean,
car towed if you don't have proper insurance or registration. Car towed, and then you never get it back. You never get it back.
So my question is, to you. Are you seeing that in Denver? I mean, and what are the legal ramifications of this level of discrimination?
Well, Denver auctioned off 7,500 vehicles just last year in 2009. That's approximately 70 a day. People are losing their cars to parking tickets or, no registration or whatever it may be. And I thought it was just exclusive to Denver because you were at the DNC. You saw what's happening here. But I've been talking to people in my hometown in Alaska. It's happening there. It's happening in Maine. It's happening in Washington, Oregon, Texas. It's happening everywhere. And it's so far out of control that the only way to do it is to either submit, which is unfortunate, get a driver's license, make sure everything's in line, make sure your cracked windshield's fixed immediately, or fight back. And so I'm just sort of choosing a middle path of sovereignty. I'm being very careful in the battles that I choose. But ultimately, I'll give you a good example. There's a young man here that we're going to file a federal lawsuit. He was coming home from a 9/11 architects and engineers conference. Hadn't had a drop to drink, but they saw the bumper stickers, and he was very nice. They racked him up on DUI, running a red light, failed to signal. We went to a jury trial and won. In the meantime, they had auctioned off his car, and in the end, one of the remedies is in federal court.
Well, worse than that,
for your rights is to actually stand up and say, "Hey, I'm taking the city and county on. I'm gonna. You got to file lawsuits. What other way are you going to be able to stand up for your rights and try to bring this to some sort of reasonable conclusion?"